This is a direct follow-up to my AUR malware video from the other day, but for anyone who missed the memo, basically the AUR, the Arch User Repository, which is the equivalent of PPAs for Ubuntu, the Copper for Fedora, you have the AUR for Arch Linux. This had effectively zero controls on who can adopt an orphaned package. This is a package without a maintainer. This resulted in someone, a group, multiple groups, we don't actually know, spinning up enough accounts to handle adopting 1,500 packages. Now, those are the old numbers. That's the last number I saw. The list has grown since then. Now, technically, this could be done with a single account, but that is a single point of failure, so it was split up across a bunch of accounts, so you don't really know which one it is by immediately looking at it. What they did with that is then injected those packages with malware, with an info stealer. The first series of packages making use of this post-install hook. So you install the package, and then it runs this command: npm install atomic lock file, Axios, and got. This is the important one. This is the info stealer. From what I've heard, this actually doesn't even work in every single situation. So there's a whole mess with what's going on here. But this was the first set, and then basically the AUR moderators were like, hey, they're doing the same thing every time, they're installing the same package, so why don't we just write a script that looks for this being installed? They did that, they cleaned up those packages, and then a new command was used with a new package. Since things first began, the info stealer package has been taken down, so that specific vector couldn't be used anymore. However, well, you just make more malware packages and you just keep shipping them out, because the story didn't end. We now have a living list created by an AUR maintainer, posted a couple of days ago, but there is a link here to the markdown document. I'll leave this link down below. Be sure to go and check this out if you want to know if anything you've installed happens to be affected. Do note that if you haven't updated it in, let's say, a week, for example, you will be fine. This is specifically stuff that has happened in, I think, the last 4 or 5 days now. Probably a bit longer by the time this comes out, maybe closer to 7 or 8 days. So maybe if you haven't updated in a week and a half, then you will be fine. Also, even if you have updated, it doesn't necessarily mean you are affected. If you updated after this was cleaned out, you will also be fine. Also, this is specifically only about the AUR. Pac-Man does not install from the AUR. If you're on SteamOS, you're not using the AUR. If you're on anything Arch-based, yes, that means Manjaro, yes, that means Endeavor, yes, that means CashOS, Omaki, anything you've installed from the AUR, possibly affected. No, if you're on Linux Mint, you are not affected. You're not on an Arch-based system. Whilst it did take way too long, following my first video being published, an Arch newsfeed item was published on the matter. Active AUR malicious packages incident. We are currently experiencing a high volume of malicious package adoptions and updates in the Arch user repository. We are actively working to track down existing malicious commits and attempting to prevent additional malicious commits from being pushed. While this is happening, and while we work to create a more permanent solution, users may see issues with the following: creating new accounts on the AUR, pushing package updates, adopting or creating new packages. We continue to encourage all users of AUR packages to review all package builds and install script changes when updating, especially during this time. If you notice suspicious commits to a package that you use, please reach out to the Arch staff via the AUR general mailing list with more information. If you don't know how to use the mailing list, I've seen people reporting stuff on Reddit, and there are AUR moderators who do use the Reddit as well. But following this, account registration on the AUR has now been disabled. If you have an account, you can keep using your account, but nobody new can make an account. This is a good thing. However, we don't know how many sleeper accounts exist. All we know are the accounts that have gone and submitted something malicious. It is entirely possible that there are 5,000 additional accounts which haven't done anything yet. And the reason I say that is simple. Following this newsfeed being published, more packages were found, more packages were published, and this problem is very, very far from over. So annoyingly, I don't know why they published it with this title. Phoronix put out this article. Arch Linux now believes malware incident under control, more than 1,500 affected packages. That linked over to this post here, which never stated it was under control, and this was never under control. As such, they had to post an update saying that there was another wave of attacks going on, and that is the wave we're talking about today. As Phoronix puts it, we've had a more sophisticated malware attack. Now, I don't know if sophisticated is the word I would use. I would go with 300 IQ. Let me just show you. So, they were looking for a specific string using npm or using bun. Now what we are doing is the exact same attack vector. Literally the exact same attack vector, still using a post install with this. This is what we call Obfuscation 101. Baby's first obfuscation. If you don't see what's happening here, remove the quote marks. Literally all this is doing is running the same command, just making it a little bit less obvious that that is what is being run. However, just general rule of thumb, if you ever see something like this in an AUR package, it's malware. 100% of the time, it's malware. It doesn't matter if it's not malware, it's malware because there is never any possible good reason to include a string that looks like this in a build script. Never. If you can find me one, I want to see it. Whilst the point of obfuscation is to hide something, not make it even more obvious that it's malicious, it did break the scripts they were using, which were looking for bun, which were looking for npm, which were looking for these specific packages being installed to actually ship the malware. So more changes had to be made, and there were a bunch of packages using this exact same vector. However, we are also seeing people who are not shipping malware, but who are also taking advantage of the fact that they can just do whatever they want with these orphan packages. We have this one. It's just echoing out a string, your bash RC, ZSHRC, fish, and Albanian virus 2.sh. Now, I can't read this. However, we do have the internet and translation tools. Roughly translating to, you're an idiot and you're using that shitty Cal distro, install pip and stop embarrassing yourself. Or at least don't use AUR for noobs. Be grateful I didn't infect you with a virus. I just put a friendly reminder in the console. Happy Pride Month. Use no-cord, rack, and co-proxy by Mr. Sugama. Download the new Albanian virus from Russia. You were hacked by Stopampers. Test link deleted. Install pip. I'm scared of pip. For a face like that, I'll pip you. You were hacked by RCLXIT. I'm cool. I use Windows. Now, is that a good translation? I actually don't know. But if you want to go check it for yourself, I'll leave this specific commit linked in the description down below. If you have a better translation, let me know in the comment section down below. That's just a kind of funny, dumb one. I don't know if this is related to the people that are actually doing the malware attack or just someone who wanted to take advantage of it as well to also go post something stupid, because now that the attack vector is known, now that people know that you can just adopt an orphaned package, people are going to do it. What's a lot more concerning is this one. A former package was orphaned from me, but I still received the mails so I could watch what the hacker is doing. That is for Rakudo Star. The account was created 2024. That is the person who adopted the package. When I said we don't know how many sleeper accounts exist, this is what I mean. I don't know if this is a sleeper account. I don't know if this is a compromised account. All I know is these accounts were not necessarily created in the last week or even the last month. With that being the case, even if they keep account sign-up closed, I don't know when this ends. It could be a week from now. It could be a month from now. This is a problem which is going to continue going on and on and on as long as there are accounts and as long as the attack vector is still wide open. This is a problem that needs to be rethought. This is a security hole which can no longer exist in the modern web. This is a moth to a flame. It was one thing when people didn't really know about it, but now that they do, as soon as they open account sign up, this will happen again and again and again. And as you might expect, a bunch of people come along saying, I am the one with the solution. I have the thing that will solve all your problems. AUR package scanning with Atom Drift. Offer to help. AUR scan. Scan AUR packages with Claude LLM before installing. AUR malware campaign June 2026. And then in here, they provide a script for doing that scanning. Now, I'm not saying that any of these solutions are bad. They very well might be good solutions, and they might actually do a thing that solves a problem. But as people are kind of just like throwing things out there, testing needs to be done, especially with ones like this one where it's going to get very expensive very, very quickly. It's saying 3 cents per package if you have 1,000 packages, and then you have 1,000 more packages and 1,000 more packages and 1,000 more packages. Eventually, that starts racking up very, very quickly. It's not like you just want to scan things once and be done. You want to scan things every time there's a new commit. So, again, that gets very, very expensive very, very quickly. I don't know if this is the route they're going to go or what exactly is going to happen here. Now, also, we've had reports of accounts which haven't done anything suspicious, but seem a little bit suspicious. This account was created June 11th using a bogus Gmail account. That right there is already a bit of a sign that something is off. Now, maybe they misspelt it, maybe something else went wrong, but not having a valid account, especially during this, it's certainly worth keeping an eye on them. This is not just one account. Like, this could be a totally legitimate account. There are a bunch of accounts doing the exact same thing. Right now, though, everyone is on high alert. Anything that seems possibly, maybe, sorta could be malicious, just watch it, see what happens, and if they do anything even slightly out of line, immediate ban. Because simply put, the AUR cannot continue to function the way that it always has. The AUR is from an earlier time on the internet where just having open trust wasn't really that big of a deal. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done it. And yeah, it probably wasn't that safe. But the AUR was also a much smaller target back then. Linux was a smaller target. Arch Linux was a smaller target. But now that this is something which a lot of people use, a lot of people are looking at, a lot of people rely on, now it's becoming a valuable target to hit. Especially so when the vector to hit it is have an email address, maybe not even a valid one, and a script. That is all. Nothing else. Some sort of solution needs to go in place, some sort of change to the policies of the AUR. This might require completely rethinking who is allowed to publish a package and under what conditions. The process by which you get an account. Maybe adding a human in the middle when you're adopting a package. Maybe adding a human in the middle where they are verifying the commits of new accounts. Maybe having, alongside the human checks, actually doing those AI checks, making some investment into the AUR, and checking at least new accounts and new package adoptions, things like that. Maybe just not even letting package adoptions happen unless you've been around and you've maintained existing packages for a considerable amount of time. It's not going to stop anything, but it would certainly mitigate the damage, because I would have said account age a couple of days ago, but considering there are accounts from 2024 which are a part of this attack, all that would need to be done then is just wait, because it's not uncommon to just make an AUR account and then not submit anything and not maintain anything. You might have an AUR account specifically just to comment on the packages you use. Right now, the AUR moderation is playing an endless game of whack-a-mole, and if they decide to not change anything and reopen account sign up, well, that whack-a-mole game is not ending anytime soon. Maybe the AUR needs to become more like a regular repo where you only have a small set of contributors, a small set of maintainers, and not anybody can just get involved. They need to go through a vetting process and then they're allowed to do it. I don't want that to happen. I like the AUR for what it is, but maybe this just doesn't work anymore. It might just not be viable on the modern web. I don't want to say that, but it might be true. And I don't want to hear from anyone that the AUR is not supported by Arch. It is run by Arch Linux. Shut up. Just shut up. What they mean when they say the AUR is not supported by Arch is they mean they don't test it like the main repos. It doesn't mean they don't moderate it, they don't run it, they don't support it. This is a problem with English. Support means a different thing in the context of actually working with something and testing it, and supporting it as in running it and operating it. English. As it currently stands, there are not any plans set in stone. The latest official announcement was this about AUR registration being disabled, which is actually from a couple of days ago, so I don't know why we're announcing that again, but either way. Also, there is this thread talking about a waiting period for adoption, reviewing X number of commits, so on and so forth, but we don't exactly know what is going to happen long term. Something will, hopefully, and we'll have to wait and see. Because the AUR's had a lot of malware problems recently, and yeah. I would like it to stop. It would be nice. It would very much be nice. I'm also working on a video on general AUR safety, so keep your eyes open for that one. So, if you liked the video, go subscribe, let me know your thoughts down below. Also, if you were affected, I'll leave a blog post link down below as well that goes through some of the steps you need to follow to get the malware off your system. This is a mess. I'd like it to be over. Anyway, if you really liked the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, check out the Patreon, Scribes, Daily Bearer Pay, linked in the description down below. That's going to be it for me, and... oh, nah, mate. Got some malware.